What is up, everybody? We are back at I was gonna say my favorite training dummies, but I don't know if they're my favorite training dummies. Maybe one day we'll rank the training dummies, or there's a Crendor video about the training dummies. I'm not sure. But for today, I want to go over 5 add-ons that I think are the most beneficial especially when you're starting out, but this can really apply to any player. But this video is especially for, if you're new and you're not too familiar with add-ons, especially with the changes in Midnight to the add-on system. Now that we're kind of well into the season and the dust has kind of settled on the whole add-on situation, I just want to go over 5 add-ons that I think are the best for getting better at Devourer. So starting off, we have Ellesmere UI. So this one isn't specific to Devourer at all. What this really is, if you're familiar with EllesmereUI, the concept is basically the same of, I want this to basically fully replace my entire UI, really. I am a big fan of the kind of sleek, sort of like solid black kind of look for my UI. And I've been using Ellesmere UI for about a month now. Originally I had a bunch of different add-ons that kind of comprised my UI, like you've seen in, previous videos. But Ellesmere UI, I think, and I mean, I'm a little averse to the whole AI thing. But at the same time, like, I kind of assume every add-on is AI at this point. But beyond just being a UI add-on that has, profiles and things like that you can import from other people, and it's pretty easy to customize too, especially when if I go into unlock mode, it's very easy to, like, there's even a little light I can put on my cursor to know where I am at. But there's a lot of options here that are beneficial when making your own UI. And there's some stuff that, like, you can only mess with in the Blizzard edit mode, but beyond the UI stuff, there's literally a button to make my graphics lower. It's going to lower your graphics in a specific way, but it's also going to bump your FPS up, which, especially in WoW in the current day, is a huge boost. There's just a bunch of quality of life stuff. Like, if I'm in an instance, for example, and I don't have, my if I don't have my consumables up, it'll say, hey, put on a consumable, use your buff, whatever, weapon, flask, food, and then just some standard stuff if you want to enable it, of, like, having a tracker or macros for your potions and stuff, or like faster looting, auto repair, setting your auction house to just the current expansion, skipping cinematics, selling junk, so on and so forth. Auto key insert's always nice to have too. I'm actually going to turn this one on because that's really annoying when you're signing up for a key and you put in your note of something and then it goes away and you have to retype it. There's also a party mode. I don't use the party mode personally, but it is there if you want it. It also just got damage meters. This one isn't entirely necessary. I think it's really great for condensing your UI down and having it be an easier process and reskinning everything to be a little sleeker, but also having those kind of quality of life changes so you don't have to spend a bunch of time configuring them yourself with your own add-ons. And there's definitely some creature comforts, like, like I said, with reminding you to use consumables and things, which are actually very important. Among just having easier to read nameplates for interrupts and things. But yeah, that's Ellesmere UI. Next up is going to be BigWigs and LittleWigs. This is another add-on that you might already have, but if you don't, what BigWigs and LittleWigs is doing, you can also use Deadly Boss Mons, they're pretty similar. But what BigWigs and LittleWigs is doing is, it, in the current version of WoW, because before they could do a lot more, but with add-on restrictions, a lot of what it's doing is just reskinning the bars that are telling you when mechanics are happening. That's kind of the brass tacks of it. of just having a nice way to read when mechanics are coming, and it can do, you know, it can do text to speech as well, for certain things, and you can, you know, see like the boss settings, for example, like in the Void Spire of, you know, saying if I'm on Crown of the Cosmos, I can turn on or off, you know, getting told when Void Stalker Sting is going to happen. I don't really care when Void Stalker Sting happens, so I don't need to know. Because part of being Devourer is we are so mobile and able to keep up that damage while moving, especially with, I mean, basically almost all of our spells, that we are really good for doing basically most mechanics. Being useful for that is good. being good at doing mechanics is a good thing. And having any way to make that easier for us is always going to be good. So, I mean, it's a really simple add-on in theory, but in practice, it's going to improve how you play because it's just going to reinforce mechanics to you, especially when we're on a spec that has so much uptime sort of related gameplay, and having all of those kind of aspects of our rotation that you really need to focus on. Being able to use less of your brain power on mechanics is always going to be a good thing while still accomplishing them and not wiping your raid or your dungeon group. Next up is an add-on called Void Chimes, which you might not be able to hear it. You may be able to hear it on the video, not sure. But what Void Chimes is doing, it's doing two things very simply. One, it's going to just play a sound, an increasing level of sound for each collapsing star that you cast, but it also has a collapsing star counter that you can put anywhere on your screen. I just have it above my health bar, and all that's going to do is just count for you the amount of collapsing stars you got in your current meta, or in your current meta. But it also, once I drop out of meta here in a little bit, it will also tell me this is how many C stars you casted in your previous meta, and then once I enter my next meta, that'll reset. So I got 4, and then that just tells me, especially, but just for the average Devourer player and the new Devourer player, being able to know how many stars you got per meta is really important, because of it being such a central part of our damage. Because 4 is basically guaranteed once you have gear, and then trying to get to 5 is really good. But you're really able to just improve by just having that tool and just saying, okay, I got 4 in this last one, let me try to go for 5, or just, you know, whatever scenario you want to put yourself in. Just having the little counter is nice. The add-on doesn't have a ton of downloads, but all these will be linked to the description, obviously. But it's a really simple add-on, but I really love it. I think it's a great, just kind of like, I mean, it's like a weak aura. It's like an old weak aura. Obviously, it's annoying that these basically weak aura level add-ons are full add-ons, but still. Yeah, I mean, that's Void Chimes. Next up is SimulationCraft. And I'm sure you've heard me talk about simming before, but if you're not familiar with simming, I'll do a quick little crash course here. But once you download the SimulationCraft add-on, what you're going to do is once you're in game, specifically in game, you will type /SIMC in your chat. This window will pop up. You'll copy it, Control-C, and then you will just go to raidbots.com, go to Top Gear or Droptimizer. We'll do Droptimizer for the sake of this because I don't really have anything combinations to do. But let's say I wanted to say, you know, figure out what kind of gear should I be looking for? What's good for me? I don't have any gear in my inventory, but I want to see, you know, in general, what should I be kind of looking at to, if I had my pick of any dungeon to do, right? I go down here, Season 1 raids, March on, and you can pick specific raids as well, or I can just do the Mythic Plus dungeons. Keep in mind, I pay for a subscription to Raidbots. If you don't, because I can sim all the dungeons at the same time. If you don't pay for Raidbots, you have to do them one at a time. But I would pick, you know, the eye level I want the items to sim at. And then, you know, I run my Optimizer. And then while this is going, I'm going to head back to Raidbots. And I'm going to select Top Gear. my sim, paste my sim back in. And then just for, let's see if, you know, my bifurcation band or my bond of light are going to be an upgrade. I scroll down. There's also enchants. You can sim enchants, gems, food, flask, pots, whatever, talents. And then I click find top gear. So if we go back to my drop optimizer sim, this is just going to tell me, you know, what's an upgrade, you know, some minor stuff, just kind of upgrading what I already have, but still kind of get the point. And then back to my top gear sim, you know, this is just telling me, okay, if I change out my Loa Worshipper's band for my bifurcation band, I'm gonna lose a little bit of DPS. But that's really Raidbots in a nutshell. That's kind of like the very, very simple version of that. If you have any questions about simming your character, just go ahead and ask in my Discord. I'm more than happy to help at any time. So just go ahead and head over there, and I will help you out. Now, our last add-on is by far. Now, our last add-on is by far the best and the most damage increase. My damage after installing this add-on here, a little bit down here, bam, it's off the screen. I mean, it's not even registering in the camera. That add-on that is going to massively increase your DPS is called Peggle. Now, you might say to yourself, Nintern, how's Peggle going to increase my DPS? And I would say, technically, it won't. But what it will do is when you are on break for raid and you don't want to get up, or if you're raiding for the next pull, or you're, you know, just sitting AFK in Stormwind, you know, like I'm bored and I'm just watching YouTube on my other monitor and I should be practicing how to play Devourer, but I don't really want to. I can come and play Peggle. So I'm gonna play Icecrown Citadel. You can pick Bjorn or Splork. I'm a Splork man myself. And then the whole goal is just to hit these little pegs and win the game. And you want to get all the goal, the end game, the prog, if you will, for Peggle is oh, I got a free ball. That's sick. The end game is to get all the red pegs without using up all your balls. So I'm doing pretty okay in this run. I got another free ball. As you can tell, I have a lot of practice with Peggle. If I had to really pick an add-on, if I could only have one add-on, and I think I'm gonna lose. If I could only have one add-on for the rest of my life, it would definitely be Peggle. Nothing makes me do more damage than Peggle does. But we'll call it there. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Be sure to go down there and like and subscribe, and check out all the add-ons that I linked in the description. I'll have their author names down there too. And remember to join the Discord as well, and also have a look at my written Devourer guide in the Fellhammer Discord. And just come say hi. So y'all have a good day, and I will see you guys in a video sometime this week.